featured throughout the building is a tribute to the talent and the resilience of our homeless artists, and in some way gives us a picture of their stories. This banner tells the story of how Room in the Inn started. There is Father Strobel starting on his journey at his first parish. It shows the different buildings where Room in the Inn has been housed and ends at our dream building. It's a tribute to not only Father Strobel and his work and vision, but to all the other people who came on board to help folks who are homeless.
Well, the art program started at Room in the Inn in a very informal way at my brother-in-law Tom Siegenthaler's backyard studio. We were talking one night about how he could contribute to help at the Room in the Inn. He said, "What if I come down and teach an art class?" So we left it at that, and several weeks later he said, "Come back here, I want to show you what I've done." And he had 10 lesson plans laid out. And in the first one was a square, circle, triangle. And he said, "You know, Charlie, everything that is in the world, every shape is a combination of a square, circle, or triangle." And he said, "I'll do that with lesson 1." And he went on and explained all these lessons. So he came down one night, we had Room in the Inn going on, and I got about a dozen men to go upstairs and meet him so that he could start lesson 1. And he had them learn about square, circle, triangle. And at the end of the night, they all agreed they would come back next week. Well, the next week came a totally different group of men. So he went over lesson 1 again. And once again, he said, "Next week, we'll do lesson 2. He never got past lesson 1. Later, he said, "You knew what was going to happen, didn't you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Charles, you knew that I would have to do this over and over and over again because it would be a different group of people." And I laughed and I told him, "We can call it groundhog art." Tom always told the fellows, art is like a fingerprint, that when you create art, it can never be duplicated. Then I'd like to add that art is part of the divine process, because God is seen first as the creator, and that we try to create, we develop our self-esteem, and we're in some way in touch with our divine DNA. Not only have we honored Tom by dedicating the art room in his memory, but my sister Veronica, his widow, and her 4 daughters have honored him by endowing a special art project that pays an artist, local artist in residence to come and teach an art class here. And we're especially proud of that.
The lifeblood of the art program is the gifts and talents of a wide variety of volunteers.
I think our volunteers come because most of them love what they do and love the art and love the creative process, and they love sharing it with our participants here.
First day I did this, I sat down by this great huge ex-football player and handed him a canvas and some paint. And he took the canvas, a brush, and he only used black. He painted the entire canvas black. But while he was painting, he told me about the death of his brother and how his brother had died of AIDS, and nobody else in the family would do anything about the funeral. And this one man had taken care of the funeral arrangements and the burial, and he just talked about it as he painted. And I thought, this is good, because you kind of bare your soul, maybe just to yourself or to God. I've had several of them tell me that it helped them with their addictions. Here's one day when I don't think about it. I've been very impressed that they can live this hard life and still be grateful to God for each day. It's been an inspiration to me. We usually try to have 2 or 3 projects. I call it a salon style, and a salon is where the artists come in and each of them is doing what they want to do. So it's kind of anything goes, and if they need help, they ask for it. I hope that people will know that anybody can help in here. If you ask me what keeps me coming, it's the love. I'd like to give them all a hug next week, because next week will be the last week. This is one of the hard things about moving.
The Face of Recovery, Hope for Change is a powerful collage which explores good and evil. It reflects our common humanity and the choices presented to us on a daily basis. There are many misconceptions about the homeless. Many presume that the homeless community are lazy people and that they should simply get a job. However, approximately 50% of the homeless community have jobs, others have physical or mental disabilities, which hinder them from securing and maintaining employment.
My experience here at Room at the Inn and the art classes has been, gives me inspiration, it gives me an incentive, it gives me hope that I can be more creative and work with my art and someday, bring it out to the public and have a future with it. I have this talent and I want to use it. Yeah, this art class doesn't necessarily wipe away the past, but it buffs the hurt from the past, and it does help to heal. I mean, art is a way of healing the soul in a person, and I truly believe that art not only heals the soul, but the soul is a part of your spirituality. So your spirituality will be healthy, and that's the experience that I have found. It furthers the healing process.
Phoenix Rising uses stained glass to depict the legend of the phoenix. It is a metaphor for the lives of some of the people who come through here with their lives in ashes and then, with help, rise up and fly away.
When I came to do this, it felt very, very familiar to me. The wonderful thing that's different about this kind of setting is that nobody has to be here and nobody has to stay, and they can leave when they want. And so, unlike, say, teaching in a mental health facility where people are required to go, these folks are here because they want to be here. One day I had a guy in here and he only came once or twice, as people often do. This guy made a beautiful little sort of Madonna angel figure. And I realized he was working, and on one of his hands, he had a little finger and he had a thumb. And I said, "Did you make that with your hand like that?" And he said, "Yeah, let me show you my drawings on the wall." And we went over and looked at these beautiful pencil drawings that he had done because he had taught himself to use his little finger and his thumb. And I said, "How did you lose your fingers?" And he said, "A few years ago when I was homeless, I was hopping a train and I fell off and fell under the train and mangled my hand. And when they tried to fix my hand, I begged them to fix it so that my little finger and my thumb would still touch. And when I was recovering for months, all I did was sit and draw." Ordinarily, doing class here doesn't get to me too much, but every once in a while something occurs, and I think it was the first day of the craft fair. Sam and Kat came by in the late afternoon, and he was pushing her in the wheelchair. And the wind had been blowing all day, it was awful, and then the rain was coming in that night. So they visited a little while, and when they started to leave, I said, "Well, where are you folks headed?" And Sam said, "We're going to set up a tent." And I said, "Hope you make it through the rains." I said, "It's going to be tough." It was just so affecting to me that outside of this setting, seeing people trying to do things that are normal, but at the end of the day, you got somewhere to put up a tent, wherever it is, and get through the night as best you can. So every once in a while, there's an incident like that where it really hits home what these people are dealing with. If you want to feel good about yourself, make something. Just make something. And there's a kind of level of validation and pride that comes with it when you do it.
Art engages people in their own healing process. Through creative encounters and processes, art guides a person into a place of openness and a renewed sense of possibility, regardless of whether they are playing with clay, pastels, watercolors, making junk sculpture, or just imagining a more beautiful world. They are telling their story. Made from cut-up scraps of t-shirts glued onto canvas, this particular cooperative work really states what it's like for people who are homeless. I want folks to notice the little child in the group. What is happening right now is that many families are showing up here because of job loss. They and their children have no place else to go.
Well, it means a lot to me because it keeps me out of trouble and it occupies my time. And it's a very good service they have here, and I love it. I try to come every time the door's open. I used to have some dark paintings, but I painted over them and started from the beginning because I want to get a positive feel out of it. I know if it makes me feel positive, I feel if someone else looks at it, it should make them happy. Because there's enough sadness around here as it is, so I'm trying to create something positive. I like to take old things and make them look new, kind of like a new beginning.
In looking at this angel, I don't think you can tell that it's all made from popsicle sticks. My lesson as an artist is that the most elemental of materials can be used to make something beautiful. Here we see the iconic image of Gabriel the Archangel, who rather than coming in judgment, comes in joy. All the words that you can see on the background are qualities that we aspire to bring not only to the environment of Room in the Inn, but to the world at large.
My inspiration for becoming an artist is from my father's side of the family, and love to use their creative work in positive ways. The passion is really more about sharing creative moments and inspiring others to bring that out in them. One thing that inspires me when I come is that the art that's being done is in the act. It's not in the finished product. A man that's currently coming has been in a slump, but his is because he was working homeless outside. And all of his artwork was floated away in the big Nashville flood. He saw that we were working with wood and found out that he could come, and he told me he was inspired. He was thinking he wouldn't be able to do it again. He's doing some amazing work with what little resources and equipment he has, and I think it would be amazing if we could someday find some of those pieces that floated down the river.
When people start to recover, their lives are out of whack. Things are askew and out of balance. Once they are off alcohol and drugs and their physical needs are met, they can tackle their spiritual and emotional needs. At that point, they can regroup and refashion their lives. Life will never be perfect, but it can be better than it was. As participants engage more frequently and deeply in creative encounters, they learn to facilitate and attend to the details of the process rather than the outcome. Art helps them express themselves more easily, alone and in collaboration with others. The experience helps clarify and personalize their sense of spirituality and heightens their sense of observation, creating better opportunities for change and choice.
I went to school at Mercyhurst College in Pennsylvania, and I just want to open up my own studio one day. I ain't gave up my dreams. Many times they got class, I'm up in here. It brings peace of mind to do art. Since Nashville's growing, I figured it'd be nice to capture what I can capture. I've never seen this place. It's just, sometimes you just gotta go where your mind takes you.
This particular hanging was made at an Odyssey retreat, and it's all about community. And I just love getting men to weave. I think that they wove the strands, they covered pieces of rope, and then they used ribbon and other sorts of twine to join the pieces together. And that's how we are at Room in the Inn. We are a community, and we try to help each other. We join together.
My name is Rachel Leach. I came to Room in the Inn through Aquinas College. For my own personal art, it helps me see my art through different eyes, just recognizing our own walks of life and how our walks of life help us interpret art. I feel that our students find a place for repose and peace here. They can manage stress, manage feelings, come alive.
My name's Sam. The past year that I've been here at Room in the Inn, I've really enjoyed painting landscapes, close to realism. It's just a kind of a release from stress and a release from being on the streets for a couple of hours a day. Average 3 to 5 days a week in art class to get out of myself and create something that, someday I have a goal to be able to sell some of my pieces and have enough finances to be able to get off the street.
We fashioned a photography project with Odyssey where we took pictures of emotions and emotions only. You will notice there's no people in these photos, and the idea is to look at the emotions that people experience while they're addicted, and then the emotions they experience as they move into recovery. In a creative place, artists are given the opportunity to recognize and express their own cultural and deeply personal conditions and challenges. Art provides a window to restory life events and the vision to imagine new possibilities and potential solutions.
My husband and I and our daughter volunteered together here. I love art, I love colors, I love to work with different things, but it gives an opportunity for us to really build relationships with people. It's also neat that Sarah and I bring something in here, like origami or images where you can kind of color with pencils. A lot of times people come in here and they'll go, this is stuff for grade school, but they come in here and they actually sit down and do it with encouragement from Sarah and I. And then they walk out here going, I guess I'm mistaken. People that I built relationships with that came here, gave it their all, that have passed away. They're on the tree. The tree's a wonderful thing.
People who live on the streets have a high death rate. To honor our participants who have died over the years, Room in the Inn has created this tree in their memory.
A friend brought me here, and I fell in love with the program. I've talked to parents that have called looking for their sons or daughters, and they call and they're in tears, and being able to talk with them and kind of talk them down a little bit. Same thing for people who call and they have nowhere to go and they're frantic. And they really need, among other things, someone to listen. They need an ear to hear them and kind of get them back on an even keel. Offering hope to the ones that have made unwise choices and to hold them responsible, but then also offer them hope.
The Odyssey program is a 2-year recovery program for addicted men. This tells the story of men coming into Odyssey with all different types of addiction, and through the grace of the group that helps us get on the right path, we move from there into the goal for the people in Odyssey, which is twofold, and that is to have a job and to have a home. Drug addiction increases the need for isolation the addict craves in order to spend time getting high. Addicts eventually cut off relationships from those not involved in the drug scene. Behaviors become erratic and out of character. People who are generally happy exhibit signs of depression.
For people who are addicted, we tend to numb our feelings. With alcohol or drugs. If you can identify your feelings, then you don't have to use drugs or whatever to escape them. You identify it, and sooner or later it'll pass. And I think also what's good about this is it kind of takes your mind off of it. It allows you to tap into another part of our talents or work another side, develop different neural pathways. Because before being addicted, you were just really concerned about one thing, really. And people act out in different ways, but it's pretty much self-destructive.
We can graduate from the program itself, but not from life.
It's not like, okay, you finish the program and then you get a certificate and then you're cured. It doesn't go that way. You're always in the process.
What being at the campus has done for my art is it's made me less afraid. I watch people every day, and what they're doing is they're playing. And so that has encouraged me to try new things and to not be afraid. I've been working at Room in the Inn for about 9 years, and so I do have a lot of stories, but there is one story in particular that is really meaningful to me in terms of my own growth, and it has had a huge impact on my art because with one of my participants, whose name was Angela. And Angela had 2 little girls, and all that Angela really wanted from life was to be reunited with those 2 girls. And what was so beautiful is her art would reflect that. And we have a piece called Daisy's Dream. Daisy was one of her little girls, but that is something that is just extremely meaningful to me. I now never take anything for granted. I see people who have nothing. And yet, when I ask them, well, hey, how are you? They'll say, I'm blessed. And oftentimes that just can't be the reality, and yet they're putting out there that intention that things are going to be okay with them for the most part and that they're going to be able to get through the day. I think that some people romanticize the idea of homelessness. It's not like camping. Being homeless is dangerous, it's stressful, it's uncomfortable, and it's very scary. It is a huge privilege for me as an artist to be able to facilitate other people's art, and therefore it is a way for me to be less selfish and less self-centered. Few things are more delicate than hope. Hope is not tangible, easily measurable, or available in pill form. Hope is a significant influence on healing and even survival. True hope takes into account the real threats that exist and seeks to navigate the best path around them. Hope helps establish normalcy.
I came to Room in the Inn in 1989 as a college freshman, and I haven't left. The arts really speak to who I am. If traditional things worked for our population, they may not be with us. I understand that myself. And so this is a place that's really near and dear to my heart. Our vision for the arts program at Room in the Inn is to allow individuals a place to exhale. This is a place for people to escape without using alcohol or drugs, but to escape within their own creativity and to express themselves in a way that's safe until they're ready to tell us the rest of their story. When you come in here, you find hope. It's a bright, airy place, and when you think of a place that serves people struggling with homelessness, you think about hopelessness. That's not what I feel in here. When I conjure up memories in my mind, it's about people losing themselves inside of their creativity in places like this and creating a world that is bright and vibrant, and it's their dreams. And my favorite piece of art is Daisy's Dream. Angela painted what her hope was for her daughter Daisy, and she did that in a way that was bright and cheerful. And she used these beautiful daisies with different colors because that reminded her of her spirit. I had the honor of knowing Daisy when she was a little girl. And so that was her spirit when I saw that. That's the same dream we all have. And so she was able to share with us a moment that every mother has. It makes us unique, but it also makes us alike.